Leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, pleaded not guilty to the 7-count amended charge preferred against him by the federal government. Mr. Kanu, who appeared before trial Justice Binta Nyako on Thursday, said he was innocent of all the allegations after the charge was read to him in the open court. He had moved an application for him to be transferred to Kuje Correctional Center, but the trial judge rejected the application. Justice Nyako, however, said 3 persons of Mr. Kanu's choice can visit him at the DSS facility. The trial has been adjourned to the 10th of November for hearing of his application, challenging the competence of the suit preferred against him. But joining us now to discuss the issue is the Director, Lead Network, Chukwuma Okenwa. Thank you for joining us on the news.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Now, some would say finally Nnamdi Kanu was brought before the court, because you would recall the last time he wasn't brought before the court. But then again, there are those who are unhappy with the fact that they were denied access to the court premises, and the Nigeria Bar Association had to come out to say that the court is a public place and persons should be allowed to get into the court premises. I wonder what your impressions are of yesterday's proceedings.
First, let me say, first and foremost, as someone that lives in the Southeast, we are all precarious, wondering whether you'll be granted access for the trial to begin. And we are excited when it was confirmed that he was in the courtroom. The implication would have been that perhaps for the next 1 month in the Southeast, there will be a complete shutdown. We know that for the past Mondays, up to 8 Mondays, it's been sit at home. And since they were able to implement that without the governors being able to stop that, we just felt that if this was not happen, then of course that threat will come to fruition. Then coming to the fact of the DSS becoming a law unto itself, barring including lawyers, the DSS as a security agent ought to be like an integral part of the executive. Why in a country where supposedly we have separation of powers, the agents of government, the security agents will come in the court to desecrate the court, including stopping some lawyers that came with the legal counsel from getting access, stopping some court officials from getting access. In a country that have laws like we do, you do not expect such things to be happening. And then the usual cliche of order from above. Which order should come from above in a court premises? Are we talking about the presidential bill here or the National Assembly? Or are you talking about the court of competent jurisdiction that is charged to look into this case, including the journalists that have been cleared were denied access? This shouldn't be happening in Nigeria in the 21st century.
Right. Now, the Ohanaeze Ndigbo is saying the federal government should embrace dialogue with regards to this matter. I wonder what you make of this request from them.
Honestly, that's what we expect. This is all about agitation. The Southeast is complaining of marginalization. It is visible, both in terms of mainstreaming, in terms of key leadership, ensuring equal representation across different parastatals, in uttermost disregard for the federal character. We've seen that, and we are not satisfied with that. Just before the ban on the open grazing, of course, implementation has also been an issue. Or sometimes when the governors reach out to the police force, maybe in uttermost disregard for those extant laws, you don't see the quick response you need to ensure that now that the open grazing has been banned, but of course implementation follows by pursuit. So we have an issue. We saw the uttermost killings, of people from one part of the country, desecrating the communities, killing people, destroying farms, and we kept on crying. Why should different laws be applicable to the same people living in the same country? We're in a situation where some people begin to see themselves as the landlords and others are the tenants. I want to state emphatically that Igbos are equal stakeholders of the same country. We were not invited to join Nigeria at a particular point. We are part of the founders of this great nation and should be treated with that same respect. So I think at this point, the best the government should do is not to try to use force or intimidation or jungle justice, but give room for dialogue. Try to find out what are the things that should be done then of course we're going to appease the Southeast. Because what we are talking about here is beyond an individual. It is beyond Nnamdi Kanu. He was able to cash into the minds of the Southeast because he was speaking to issues that affect the average Igbo man.
All right, we have to leave the conversation here now. Lead Network Director, Lead Network, Chukwuma Okenwa, thank you so much for your time on the news.
Yeah, thank you.